How about that? Good evening, this is the February 14th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. I hope all you guys are taking the gals out later on. Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, go ahead, you do some readings and,
Do you want to do the adjournments first, or?
sure. Since I don't have my glasses, you're in my eyes tonight.
Okay, first is appeal number 2018-054, Joseph Calabrese. They request an adjournment to March 14th, 2019.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next one up.
Okay. Next is appeal 2019-001, Robert and Kathleen Glass, 120 Louise Court. They request an adjournment to February 28th, 2019.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
First public hearing is appeal number 2019-003, James Lascalzo, 22 Creek Road, Wading River, tax map number 62914, RB80 zoning for variances and or relief from chapter 301, section 222E, where proposed side yard is 14.4 feet and minimum required is 20 feet, and section 21910B, where the proposed is in addition to a non-movable structure within the coastal erosion hazard area, which is not permitted.
You have all your paperwork tonight?
Already handed in.
All right. Kindly raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Kindly state your name and your address, please.
Brian Baer, Executive Director of the Elevated Studio, 601 West 26th Street, Suite 325, New York, New York, 1001.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So we are adding a stair tower adjacent to the pre-approved elevator for a single-family residence on Long Island Sound on Creek Road. This is a Superstorm Sandy repair project, and so for accessibility purposes, we are creating a new stair tower adjacent to the fully accessible elevator to allow the residents to move from grade up to the main floor and then the upper floor. The setback from the westerly property line to the closest corner of the new stair tower is 14.4 feet, which, as I understand it, is the reason why we are here for the variance.
Sounds simple enough.
It is simple.
Anyone have any problems with this? Anyone out here? No? No problems? Let's have a reading.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal of James Lascalzo, 22 Creek Road, Wading River, for variances and or relief from chapter 301, section 222E, where proposed side yard is 14.4 feet and a minimum required is 20 feet, and section 219-10B, where the proposed is in addition to a non-movable structure within the coastal erosion hazard area, which is not permitted, be granted in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Seabrook.
Aye.
Mrs. Worthington.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the appeal has been granted. Have a nice ride back to the city,
Thank you very much.
and good evening.
Thank you.
Good luck. How's that coming anyway?
It's
Yeah. So's Christmas.
yeah. It's coming along nicely.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is appeal number 2019-004, Jenny Krieger, 5 Oakwood Drive, Manorville, tax map number 600-146-1, 22.7, NRP zoning, for variances and or relief from chapter 301, section 179, where proposed impervious surface is 36% of the lot area and maximum permitted is 7%. Proposed floor area ratio is 14.58%, maximum permitted is 5%. Proposed front yard setback is 25 feet, minimum required is 100 feet. Proposed side yard setback is 30.67 feet, minimum required is 50 feet. Proposed combined side yard is 87.83 feet, minimum required is 100 feet. Proposed rear yard is 35.08 feet, minimum required is 100 feet. And section 180A1C, where proposed garage is 14 and 15 feet from property lines and minimum required is 20 feet.
If you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Just state your name and your address.
Robert Stromsky, I reside at 44 Circle Drive in Jamesport. I'm the architect for the applicant. What you have before you is a property that currently has a trailer, single-family residence on the parcel. The property owners would like to remove that dwelling and to construct a new single-story dwelling that would be fabricated on site, and also a detached garage. Due to some of the limitations of the property owner, a second story or a two-story dwelling was not as part of the design requirements. We tried to do everything as a single story, and then also to create a design that would be very friendly to the mobility of the occupants, so that we could have access to grade via ramps and not too many stairs and so forth. So that kind of made the design a little more spread out than would normally be if it was a two-story structure. Although it may seem that some of the setbacks are excessive in their requirements, it should be stated that the parcel is fairly small, and the requirements of a 100-foot setback for the front yard and some of these other setbacks would almost be nearly impossible to create any sort of a dwelling. And also, even the 7% impervious surface would be very difficult for the size of the lot with the requirements needed for the design. Even though we are close to the property with some of the projects and the building elements, the fact that it is a one-story, the mitigations to the adjacent properties would be greatly reduced than if it was a two-story structure facing somebody. So just to kind of give everybody in perspective, the roof fascia of the entire residence above grade would roughly be 10'2", and the highest ridge of the main structure would be only 19.6. The detached garage would have basically a roof eave height that would be 14 feet away from the property of only 15.6, to a ridge height that would be further away from the property that would only be 21'11". So when you kind of look at the structures and the massings that they are fairly reduced, and we feel that the impacts to the adjacent neighbors would be greatly reduced from the proposed aspects of the project. We also feel that the architecture of the buildings would be in character to the surrounding neighborhoods. I do have proposed floor plans and proposed elevations if the board would like to see what our designs would be. So the first page is just the floor plan of the residence and attached garage. And the second page shows the proposed elevations for the building, which is using a traditional style of architecture with hip roofs, which also would, mitigate a lot of the aspects to the adjacent properties, because we're not really proposing a lot of gable ends to the side yards and the front yards, as what could happen with certain designs. So, as you can see, the type of architecture that we're providing for both, for the main residence, a detached garage you don't have an elevation for, but essentially it's just a reverse gable, would match the aesthetics of the house for the most part in siding and color, and be complementary to the style. And we feel that this project would definitely be in character of the surrounding neighborhood, and would have no impacts to that. If the board has any questions to discuss, I'd be happy to answer them, or if anybody from the audience has any questions, I could.
Mr. Stromsky, is there gonna be, actually, the first question is, what's the purpose of the detached?
I have the homeowner here, if you would like to have him answer that for you.
Sure.
Do you mind, Kevin?
And if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Just state your name and your address.
Kevin Barrett, 5 Oakwood Drive, Manorville, New York, 11949.
You have the floor.
The garage is for, I have a camper, I have a boat, things like that. I have the opportunity to put the space up to enclose everything instead of having covers, things like that. Also, it'd make it a lot easier to work in there in the winter if it's cold and get all my stuff ready for the summer. But it's basically for recreational things like that, hobbies, you know, stuff, storing my lawn tractors, lawn mowers, things like that.
Is there, there's no second floor on the detached garage?
No, it's gonna be a 14-foot high, hopefully.
It's gonna be open, or is it gonna be
There's
like a
gonna be,
storage
I
space?
believe there's gonna be a truss roof. So just whatever the ceiling goes up to, if it's
So
14.
there's not even storage up there.
If we can, maybe we'll put some storage up there. But we probably have the height to do some shelves in the back or something like that up high if we need to.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else to be heard on this matter?
Just to reiterate on the question of the detached storage, with the wall height of about 15.3 and a ridge height of about 22, you're probably only looking at the very center, maybe about a 6-foot head height. So the amount of storage that would be there would be, you know, minimal things that you could put on ceiling joists of that nature. So it would not be a tremendous amount of storage. If anything, more flat goods, probably nothing more than 2 foot high, things of that nature. So just to kind of give you a sense of perspective as to what could possibly be stored in that attic space.
All right, if nobody has any questions, I think we're satisfied. Let's have a reading.
Okay, I move that the appeal of Jenny Krieger at 5 Oakwood Drive, Manorville, tax map number 600-146, 1-22.7, NRP zoning for variances and relief from chapter 301, section 179, where proposed impervious surface is 36% of the lot area and the maximum permitted is 7%. Proposed floor area ratio is 14.58% and the maximum permitted is 5%. Proposed front yard setback is 25 feet and the minimum required is 100 feet. Proposed side yard setback is 30.67 feet and the minimum required is 50 feet. Proposed combined side yard is 87.83 feet and the minimum required is 100 feet. Proposed rear yard is 35.8 feet and the minimum required is 100 feet. And section 180A1C, where proposed garage is 14 and 15 feet from property lines where the minimum required is 20 feet, be granted in accordance with the application in the sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
All right, Mrs. Worthington,
Aye.
Mr. Seabrook,
Aye?
and I vote aye. So your appeal has been granted. You take your child home, put her to bed, and have a nice Valentine's Day. To everyone, have a good Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Do we hear a motion to accept the meeting, the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that's that.